This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome to this week's Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl, and Happy New Year. Depending on when you are watching this game, it may be the first game of 2023. That's going to get hard to get used to, right? Welcome to Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. We have a great matchup here for you. A couple of teams with some familiar faces, players who have played these games before. Let's first welcome the Galena Pirates and their signature "Arr" before every game. That's how we know Galena is here before every game, before they head up onto the stage. After getting bounced in the first round a year ago, Pirates hope to make the long trip here worthwhile. We know it's a trek for you, Sam, and the team. And if you advance today, that's 7 times in 8 seasons that you've made it to the second round. Those are pretty impressive stats. Sam, who did you bring with you?
All right, I'm Sam. To my right is Hayes. To my near left is Chase. And to my far left is Oliver.
Welcome to the Galena Pirates. Good to see you again. Also, good to see some faces on the Rockford Lutheran Crusaders team. The Crusaders, of course, also want to make it to the second round. Last season, Crusaders rolled into round 2 and then lost to Keith by just a couple of questions. It was pretty tight. I'm sure that is still fresh in your minds. And this is actually the second time that these two teams have met up, if you're keeping track. If you're a big Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl fan, maybe you already know this. Last time they faced each other, game 1 of season 7. Let's do our buzz-in, shall we? So grab your buzzers, contestants. 2 most important rules of this first round are wait for me to call your name before you answer, and say your answer loudly and clearly. Good luck. Here we go. What quarterback who was drafted out of Purdue in 2001 has the second most career passing yards? Sam.
Reese.
That's right. In NFL history, you didn't even need the most obvious clue. Led New Orleans to the Super Bowl. We got the sports question out of the way. Galena cleaned that up. Here's a new one. Harry Seldon uses psychohistory to predict the collapse of civilization in what science fiction author's foundation series? Hayes.
Huxley.
Incorrect. Rockford Lutheran, you could take these points. Go ahead, George.
Lowry.
Incorrect. Asimov. Isaac Asimov. Mark Hanna managed the front porch campaign of what Republican president who was assassinated by Leon Czolgosz and succeeded by Theodore Roosevelt? George.
Cleveland.
Incorrect. Galena. Go ahead, Oliver.
Arthur.
Say that again.
Arthur.
Incorrect. McKinley. William McKinley, assassinated in 1901. In 1935, what organization was founded in Akron, Ohio by William Griffith Wilson and Dr. Robert Holbrook Smith, who were known as Dr. Bob and Bill W? That group has helped probably millions of people since then. Alcoholics Anonymous. In what country, whose first post-junta president was Fernando Collor de Mello, did Dilma Rousseff's impeachment lead to the rise of Jair Bolsonaro? George.
Honduras.
Incorrect. Go ahead, Oliver.
Nicaragua.
Incorrect. Brazil. Country contains about half the population of all of South America. What hydrocarbon with formula C8H18 is the namesake of a rating that measures a fuel's ability to prevent engine knocking? Sam.
Octane.
That's right. You see that number on the pump when you fill up? Galena, those are your points. New question. What city in which the Via Dolorosa ended at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre also contains the remains of the Second Temple at the Western Wall? George.
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem is correct. And those are your first points of the round. You're on the board. What constant, defined as the ideal gas constant over Boltzmann's constant, equals about 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd and is the number of particles in a mole? George.
Avogadro.
Yes, Avogadro's number. We'll take Avogadro as well for that. And now we are tied. 8 birds nest in a man's beard in a limerick by what English writer of nonsense poems who referred to a runcible spoon in The Owl and the Pussycat? George.
Frost.
Incorrect. Galena, you could take the lead. Sam.
Silverstein.
Incorrect. Lear. Edward Lear. His limerick was, "There was an old man with a beard." What American activist described her and Ellen Gates Starr's experiences founding a Chicago settlement house in her memoir, 20 Years at Hull House? She was also an 1881 graduate of what is now Rockford University. That's Jane Addams. Sir Francis Drake became the first man to captain an entire circumnavigation of the globe during his voyage from 1577 to 1580 aboard what ship? George.
Queen Anne's Revenge.
Incorrect. Galena, these points could put you in the lead. This is a tough question, and the ask was all the way at the end. We needed the ship's name. That was the Golden Hind. What country is home to the Copper Canyon, or Barrancas del Cobre, which is in the Sierra Madre Occidental in this country's state of Chihuahua? Hayes.
Mexico.
Mexico is correct, and that's the last question in the round. That's how we end it. We end with Galena going on top by one question. This is a tight game, 30-20, where we head into our first break. Lots of game to play. Our volleyball round is next, and we'll have it for you in about 2 minutes. What a great way to start off 2023 with a super close game. It's been very exciting so far. Only one round in. We've got a lot more game to play. Before we get to the volleyball round, a very quick thank you to our judge today, Dave Costello, who is the marketing manager of the Rockford Ice Hogs. He's just here to make sure no fights break out, like at a hockey game. No pulling the jerseys over someone's head. Also waiting to see if we have any Star Wars questions today. We may or may not. He's a not quite a self-proclaimed Star Wars expert, but I will give him that title. And I want to say a complete, sincere apologies to George and the Lutheran Crusaders, because I didn't give you a chance to introduce your team quickly. Well, who do you have with you up there now?
I have to my far left Madeline, to my near left Isabel. I'm George, and to my right is Visvi.
And Hayden, who was in before Madeline came in. I want to give him some credit too for being in your starting lineup. All right, volleyball round is a conferring round. Work as a team. Answers need to come from the captains, though, because of the flip of the coin. Galena gets our first volleyball question. Sam, are you and the team ready?
Yes.
Here we go. What instrument whose virtuosos include Mitslav Rostropovich, Jacqueline Dupre, and Pablo Casals is the largest instrument in a string quartet?
Bass.
Incorrect. Cello. The traditional quartet's 2 violins, a viola, and a cello. Over to Lutheran for your first question of the round. The surname of the president of Nintendo of America is, coincidentally, the name of what Nintendo villain whose body is the setting of a 2009 DS game?
Bowser.
You got it. Doug Bowser. And that was a coincidence. The game is not named after him. That just happened to be. Lutheran, you tied it up. Back to Galena. What president who introduced the Job Corps, Head Start, Medicaid, and Medicare as part of his Great Society succeeded John F. Kennedy in 1963?
Johnson.
That seemed like a team consensus. Yes, LBJ. Lutheran. In 2022, Queen Elizabeth II celebrated her Platinum Jubilee, which commemorated how many years since her accession to the British throne?
60.
70. Platinum Jubilee is 70. She just passed away this past September. Back over to Galena. What man who in a July 2022 speech claimed a new moral code was ascendant wrote the majority opinion in the 2022 Dobbs case, overturning Roe v. Wade? That was Justice Samuel Alito. Back to Lutheran. What technique finds the distance to an astronomical body by measuring the change in its apparent position as viewed from 2 vantage points?
Displacement.
Incorrect. Parallax, or stellar parallax. Back to Galena. Which deity who used a serpent to trick Ra into revealing his secret name recovered and reassembled body parts belonging to her husband Osiris?
Circe.
Incorrect. This is worth a guess. Isis. You needed to know some Egyptian mythology for that one. Back to you, Lutheran. Tie it up with this. What woman whose face launched 1,000 ships did Aphrodite give Paris after Paris judged Aphrodite as the fairest?
Penelope.
Incorrect. Helen of Troy. Galena. What novel in which Kurt may secretly be the son of narrator Oskar Matzeroth was written by Günter Grass and titled for a percussion instrument? That instrument was the tin drum. And that's how we end the round. Those are a tough few questions there in volleyball. Still, it's a 10-point game. Galena's on top with 40. Rockford Lutheran has 30. We'll take a break and come back with our NICA IBEW lightning round in a couple. But right after this break, we'll give you the answer to the Bergstrom bonus question. Watch it now.
On New Year's Eve, 1879, what American inventor provided the first public demonstration of his electric incandescent lamp at his laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey?
We've got another tight first-round game here in Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Only a question between our two teams right now. Galena has 40, Rockford Lutheran has 30. This question is not worth points, so the scores won't change, but it may fill your bellies a little bit with some pizza or pasta from Lino's. That's what's on the line in our Bergstrom bonus question. If you're watching at home, you've already seen this. Here it is, contestants. Buzz in if you know the answer to this. On New Year's Eve, 1879, what American inventor provided the first public demonstration of his electric George?
Edison.
That's right. Electric incandescent lamp at his laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey. Fist bumps all around for the pizza party at Lino's. Nice work. We'll be back with our NICA IBEW lightning round after this break. George and the Crusaders are still celebrating their Lino's pizza victory. Some of them, to be honest, some of them have never been to Lino's, so this will be a good opportunity. Tell Charlie we said hi when you go over there. The NICA IBEW lightning round has a lot of points on the line, contestants, so our 10-point spread here could change pretty quickly. If you run a category, it's 100 on your score. And because of the flip, Lutheran gets first choice. So, George, the categories this week are Olympic athletes, keys, or literary dogs.
Can we have keys, please?
Of course you can. And you said it so nicely. I want to give you 10 points. No, I'm kidding. I can't do that. But it was a polite way to request that category. Answer the following about keys. I know it's pretty vague. See if you can unlock these answers. See what I did there? You'll have 60 seconds. Sam like that. 10 points for you. Now it's evened out. So you'll have 30 seconds to get to whatever they don't. And some serious advice for both teams: you can pass. So don't let the clock get you and leave you hung up on one question. Here is your first one, George. Answer the following about keys. Either of two computer keys held down to capitalize letters.
Shift.
Correct. A master key that unlocks any door in a house.
Pass.
Symbol on a musical staff whose name means key in French.
Clef.
Correct. National anthem written by Francis Scott Key.
Pass.
Obstructions in a lock that interface with a key.
Pin tumbler.
Correct. State known as the Keystone State.
Pass.
Color that is called key in CMYK printing.
Pass.
Branch of computer science dealing with keys and coding.
Game theory.
Say that again.
Game theory.
Incorrect. Three-letter word for a small device held near an electronic lock to unlock it.
Pass.
Country whose flag depicts two keys in its right half.
Pass.
A master key.
Pass.
National anthem.
Star Spangled Banner.
Correct. State known as the Keystone State.
Wyoming.
Incorrect.
Pass.
The color you're passing on?
Yeah.
Three-letter word for a small device. I know you kind of in your head, you know where things are. I need to know where I'm jumping to. So that's okay. That's okay. I just want to explain. So you got 4 more added to your score. You're up to 70, right? Now you're in the lead. So there's 6 left on the board for you, Sam, and the team. 30 seconds. I'll read them as fast as I can. You may not need all of that time. If you've been paying attention, you could get these really fast. Are you ready for the first one? Answer the following about keys. A master key that unlocks any door in a house.
Pass. Pass.
State known as the Keystone State.
Colorado.
Incorrect. Color that is called key in CMYK printing.
Green.
Incorrect. Branch of computer science dealing with keys, encoding, and authentication.
STEM.
Incorrect. 3-letter word for a small device held near an electronic lock to unlock it.
Pass.
and no chance to get to that last one. The ones that were left were pretty tough. Galena, your score didn't change. Here's the answers that no one got. The master key that unlocks any door is a skeleton key. The state known as the Keystone State is Pennsylvania. The color that is called key in CMYK printing, if you have a printer that has multiple cartridges, one's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So in that acronym, black is listed as K, not B. Branch of computer science dealing with keys and coding and authentication is cryptography. We would also take an encrypting if you wanted to use that. The three-letter word for the small device to unlock a lock is a key fob, F-O-B. And the country whose flag depicts two keys in its right half, that's Vatican City. Now we go over to Galena, right, for your choice of the last two questions, or the last two categories, Olympic athletes or literary dogs. What'll it be, Sam? All right. Name the sports played by these athletes. So we're looking for the sport in general. So for example, rowing, not the name of specific event in that sport. So the sport in general. So you name the sport played by these athletes. Same rules apply. 60 seconds is on the clock. Sam, are you ready for your first one?
Yes.
Name the sports played by these athletes. Simone Biles.
Gymnastics.
Correct. Michael Phelps.
Swimming.
Correct. Naomi Osaka.
Tennis.
Correct. Usain Bolt.
Track and field.
Correct. Kevin Durant.
Basketball.
Correct. Muhammad Ali.
Boxing.
Correct. Chloe Kim.
Snowboarding.
Correct. Megan Rapinoe.
Soccer.
Correct. Martine Brodeur.
Pass.
Greg Louganis.
Table tennis.
Incorrect. Martine Brodeur.
Equestrian.
Incorrect. It's worth answering, right? We'll stop the clock there. 80 points added to your score. You are now on top by 50. There's two left here, so you can close that gap a little bit, George, with these two, and you have 30 seconds if you want to take all the time. Go ahead. If not, go ahead and answer, and we can move on. Are you ready? Here is the first one. Name the sports played by these athletes. Martine Brodeur.
Fencing.
Incorrect. Greg Louganis.
Skiing.
Incorrect. Those are the only two left. Martine Brodeur plays hockey. He helped win 2 golds for Canada. And Greg Louganis was a diver. Many people consider him the best diver ever. Won golds in 84 and 88, and if the U.S. hadn't boycotted Olympics, probably in 1980 as well. All right, we're moving on to our final round. That is the final challenge where every question is worth 20 points, and the point spread right now between our teams is only 50. Still a tight game. We'll see how it ends up after this. Well, this game has been tight every single round, basically. Galena widened the gap a little bit that last round, but there are a lot of points on the line here because in our Mercy Help Final Challenge, every question is worth 20 points. So we've seen gaps, 50 points seems like a lot. We've seen bigger gaps close very quickly. So keep that in mind to both of our teams. Hands on your buzzers. 2 most important rules. Wait for me to call your name. Say your answer loudly, clearly. Here we go. What character, who's played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Lawrence Fishburne in the Matrix films, shares his name with a Greek god of dreams? Hayes.
Morpheus.
That's right. First points of the round to Galena. What state where such towns as Hindman and Whitesburg were devastated by record flooding in 2022 is led by Andy Bashir? George.
Texas.
Incorrect. Galena. Go ahead, Sam.
Houston.
Incorrect. Kentucky. What war for which Henry Kissinger first used shuttle diplomacy? George.
Vietnam.
Incorrect. I will finish for Galena. Was fought by a coalition including Egypt against Israel and began on a holy day? Oliver.
The 6-Day War.
Incorrect. The Yom Kippur War, we would have taken Ramadan War, 1973 Arab-Israeli War as well. What devices that can mesh directly together, unlike sprockets, can form a transmission that transmits torque when they interlock? George.
Gear.
Yes, that is correct. What poet wrote about his marriage in the sonnet cycle Amoretti and depicted the Red Cross Knight in an epic honoring Elizabeth, the Fairy Queen? Sam.
Petrarch.
Incorrect. Lutheran, you could take these points. It'll put you in triple digits. George.
Dostoevsky.
Incorrect. Spencer. Edmund Spencer. The Cypress Hills contain the highest point in what Canadian province? That is, along with Alberta, one of just 2 landlocked provinces. George.
Saskatchewan.
That is correct. Those are your points. No, you're above 100. What regular polygon has interior angles equal to 108 degrees, comprises the faces of a regular dodecahedron, and has 5 equal sides? George.
Pentagon.
Pentagon is right. 2 in a row for Lutheran. What woman served for less than 5 months in 1993 as the only female Prime Minister of Canada after the resignation of Brian Mulroney? Kim Campbell. What businessman who was replaced by Andy Jassy as his company's CEO in 2021 went to space that year on a Blue Origin rocket and led Amazon? Visvai.
Bezos.
Bezos is correct. You're now on top. What choreographer whose namesake technique is based on contraction and release collaborated with Aaron Copland on the ballet Appalachian Spring? That was Martha Graham. What meat, the main ingredient in haggis and traditional Greek, George?
Sheep.
Yes, that is correct. Is often served as a rack of chops, is called mutton when mature, and that's how we end the game. I told you 50 points wasn't much. Rockford Lutheran pulls it off. George is doing his victory dance.
Let's go.
Nice work. Sigh of relief. It has to feel good. Congratulations. You're moving on to round 2. Galena, first of all, I can tell by the look on your face, everybody wants to win, right? But you played a fantastic game. A lot of our games never stay this closely, or never stay this close. You had a fantastic lightning round. You should not be disappointed. And we thank you for traveling. I mean, we know how far you travel to play our game. How many of you are seniors? All of you. Well, rule number 1 or mission number 1 is to recruit a team to come back and play next season, and all of you come visit us and keep in touch anytime you want, all right? Thanks for playing. It's been a pleasure to have you play our game. And we hope you will join us next week when Byron takes on Pearl City. We'll see you then.